Do you see when you watch his film, is it elite speed or is it just like one of those track guys that sometimes is deceptive?
I think he's at this point more of a track guy. If you watch him with the ball in his hands, I think that's when you really can see the speed. He can catch a crosser and it's like, oh man, like look at him go with the ball in his hands. But if we're just talking about as like, what makes receivers good, and if you really look at receivers, a lot of receivers aren't the fastest of guys, right? Like who's the best receivers in the NFL? Are
Right.
those guys like 4.45 guys
No.
or better? Typically, they're not, right? Devontae Adams is a 4 or 5 something type guy. You look at guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, who's been a consistent 1,000 yard plus receiver. Whoever you look at, they're typically not the fastest of guys. And when you look at a guy like Danny Gray, clearly he has the speed, and that does show up at times. But I just thought, like in and route, that's definitely something he can continue to improve on, truly understanding how to utilize the threat of his speed en route.
Mm. Yeah. I think that one of the things that I really like about this draft is when you pair it with the 49ers roster, none of these guys have to be the guy, whether it's Drake Jackson, whether it's the wide receiver, it's a role. They could come in as the number 4 wide receiver. You could come in as the number 5 edge and just do your one. It reminds me none of these players match this, but Alden Smith, if you remember his incredible rookie year, he didn't come out. He wasn't an every down start. He didn't start. He just came in, did his role, which was pass rush, go back to the sidelines. And I feel like a lot of these guys kind of feel that. It's a depth draft, which is maybe not a great thing. I don't know.
Well, it creates competition. So, from that standpoint, I think a lot of the guys that they drafted will at the very least push the starters to where it's like, hey, if you're not on your stuff, there's this younger guy that is really trying to take your spot. And I'm pretty sure Kyle Shanahan and the front office, approach those younger guys with that opportunity. Look, nothing is going to be given to
Yeah.
you. But if you come in and you prepare the way like that you're supposed to as a professional, and I know they'll have to learn how to do that, but if they do that, then there will be an opportunity for them to not just make the roster, but have some sort of an impact. And a guy like Danny Gray, maybe it's not pushing Ayuk or Debo Samuel for targets, but hey, can you come in and at least be a threat to pull defenders and back up
Yeah.
secondaries, and that in turn free up things underneath for Ayuk and Debo, and you can play off of them that way. Will he be able to come in and play over Juwan Jennings? I think that's a big question. And right now, I would lean more towards Jennings, but knowing the upside of a Danny Gray is going to be up to him to really tap into that.
Yeah, maybe Danny Gray between the 20s and Juwan Jennings in the red zone or short yardage, maybe. I don't, and very similar to what you just said. Nobody felt that way about Elijah Mitchell last year, right? He was just a depth guy. And sure enough, here we are 3 weeks into the season. He became the guy. You never know who's going to do that. Just want to say thanks for watching and supporting the 49ers Rush podcast channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so in the middle of the screen now. And here are a few extra videos if you want to check that out for some more 49ers content. Just want to say thank you. And as always, stay strong, faithful.